How the Heretics. So Jif and Summer, they are making an documentary about how to leave Jehovah Witnesses called, what is called, Summer?
The Great Escape?
The Great Escape?
Yes.
Wasn't it the Healing Project?
The Healings
Well,
Project is the name.
the episode that we put out was the Great Escape. That
Mhm.
just a part of the chapter of the Healing Project. Yes.
Okay. So you put one chapter out like a preview.
Yeah. Basically, I have a lot of ammunition now, and Summer and I, the whole team, we had to take a little break, and from the traveling and the journeying and just going everywhere. So we started working on the production. So at this point now, at the beginning of the year, I wanted to release something, and
Yeah,
so
but
I
couldn't
call it
you
my little director's cut.
sorry, just for new viewers that don't know anything about this, who are you
Okay.
two, and what is the project you're making? Like, spend 1 minute on
Yeah,
explaining the
yeah,
basic.
yeah.
What is this project?
Yeah, well, it started off with the Tune In tour, and that was a whole different project that we were working on last year, that launched. And then as we were working on the Tune In tour with the business partners and the group that we were working with, Rick Laz's, we started to begin the Healing Project, and then we started working on that as well, because since we were traveling so much, um, it was helping us to get to certain cities, since we were all going as a team, and then starting to interview Jehovah's Witnesses. But our goal is to create a series that we can sell, and sell to a major network such as Netflix or something like that. So we're working on
Hmm.
the 2-minute trailer now, to release that, and that should be released real soon. And that's what's actually going to be something that will be part of the package of selling it as well.
Yeah. So it's basically a documentary about people that left the Jehovah Witnesses and that are thriving
Yes,
after leaving. It's a
yes,
happy documentary.
yes. Our
But
goal.
okay. And Summer, can you tell us, without mentioning a name, what kind of people have you been interviewing? So
Mhm.
obviously no names and no spoiler, but
Of course.
like the story that you liked best, for instance, of
Um,
people you met. Let's
there's
call them X, Y, and Z.
there's a lot. There's stories I've read all across the United States, even in Europe, that people have contacted us. Stories that start with someone losing custody of their children
Oh,
because they did not want to be a Jehovah's Witness, and the toll that that's taken on their lives emotionally, and then turning that pain into something, that would support, them, and expressing it in a creative way and moving on from that, or trying to cope with that. There's stories of families that have all woken up one at a time and decided to all leave together. I mean, I could go on and on, different, aspects and effects that leaving has had on people's lives. And then just the ordinary people that have left and are coping, one day at a time. They may not be living their best life, but they're living freely. So things like that touch your heart, that, want you to talk to people, because, and I think that as a culture growing up, we've learned not to say a lot. So I applaud those men and women and everyone that has come to us and said, hey, this is my story. Because
Mhm.
we're taught to be quiet and say, you got reinstated or you got reproved, don't say anything. You got this fellowship, don't say anything. And it's time for us to kind of speak out. So
yeah,
those that have reached out to us, they're all over, and we're so grateful for them to just being brave enough to talk about it.
yeah. One of the funny thing with protesting, I do a lot of protesting, kind of very rewarding, is when you meet the people that have been out of the organization and
Mhm.
living with anxiety and attacks and all guilt and shame for 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
because they actually believe that they were the only one that were
That's the
disfellowshipped on
Lord.
the planet. They
Yeah.
thought
Mm.
they were the
Yep.
only one. And then they meet a whole group of people and they just realize, oh, it
I'm
was
not
a cult.
alone.
And
Yep.
they can
Yeah.
leave all the shame.
Hmm. Yeah.
That
We've got
that's
to
one of
Definitely.
my
ask.
favorites.
That was one of the questions we got asked, Giff and I both. People don't really know. They know my story, but they don't know Giff's story. Maybe he'll share a little bit. But, we come from a very complex background. So I have witnesses that are like, they don't really go to the meetings, but they have family members that do. So they're kind of, not really shunned all the way, like 75% shunned. And they ask me, like, why are you doing this? Why is this important to you? Are they paying you? And my answer is because no one's talking about it. It's not to, put a bad light on them, or we're not trying to, attack them, the religion as an organization. We're saying those of you that have been brave enough to leave, talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's show people that we're not alone, because
Amen.
the rate of suicides or even suicidal thoughts just because you feel unloved is just ridiculous. And even if it's through Facebook or social media or YouTube, if people know that, hey, there's someone else like me, or someone that's going to accept me for my decision. Because we're talking about beliefs. We're not talking about committing crimes. We're not talking about, breaking any federal laws. We're talking about a belief system. And to me, it wouldn't matter if you were, believe that Santa Claus is on the moon, doing, the hokey pokey. If that's what you believe, I accept that. That's your belief. But we could talk about other things, outside of that.
That's right.
And we just want the Jehovah's Witnesses, we love, there's family members we have in that organization that we still love. And, we're hurt by their decision to not communicate. But we want people to know that even if you decide to do that, it's really hurtful to us. And it's not making us want to come back authentically. It's making us feel anxiety, depression. Yes. We're not good enough. We don't deserve to be here. No one cares. That's the effect that it's having. And so my mission as like the host and the sponsor of the Healing Project is just to allow people to tell their story and accept them for that. That's it, and we come off like excited or, passionate. It's really passion and the love that Giff and I and the team have for people that have been through some type of trauma. Just because you've been through that, we already love you. We accept you as family, because family shouldn't have to be based off of a belief system. It should be based off.
When I talk to worldly people, I describe it this way. Imagine, and I put them in the situation because then they can feel their own feelings instead of talking about me. I say, imagine that you tell your parents that you don't believe in Santa Claus, and they just turn around and walk away from you, and you never see them again. And people just...
Yeah, that's great.
That's unreasonable. When you put them in that situation, because... it's kind of, they think, okay, if you're a member of a cult, you believe in crazy stuff, so you're crazy to begin with, and crazy stuff happen. But everyone believes in crazy stuff. If you believed at one point of your life in Santa Claus, you were basically in a cult. But the thing is, it's not a destructive cult in a way that you can actually say that I don't believe in it, and your parents will not kick you out. That's the difference between a religion and a cult.
Yes,
that's right.
That's
right. And as simple as it sounds, it's so deep what you're saying. I mean, it goes to the core if you really think about it, and what it does to the psyche of the mind itself.
So you're basically trying to make like a Netflix. Okay, we use Netflix like an example now. A Netflix season where, do I remember correctly, it was like 12 episodes to a season, something like that?
Say that one more time. Did you hear?
What's the concept? Is it like 12 episodes on a season?
Yes. And I'm having a really hard time because there's so much information that I'm trying to put. So for instance, the episode, the chapter 1, the editor's cut that I put in, I mean, that one's not even done, but I love that story. And that's the one that Summer was talking about with the entire family, leaving together. So that one itself, I'm having such a hard time because I realized that could be a 4-hour episode in itself. And I got to shrink it down, and I'm constantly cutting. What I was going to release was only going to be, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
And by the end, it came out to 35 minutes. And I'm like, I have to release that. Like, there's no way. And because people would be mad if I stopped it at the 12-minute mark. But that was such a beautiful story. And so building up these stories and making it feel, I'm trying to tap into the feeling of it, the feeling of what we're going through and how we go through it, and telling that story and trying to capture that story just right so that I can walk people through a life story. And it's very difficult because the amount of research you have to do on just a person's life itself. And then not only that, the amount of research, because I'm constantly messaging Summer and I'm like, Summer, I need one more document. What year was that person born? Oh, I need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but Summer,
but
you agree with me. Okay, so those that saw the first time I interview GIF, he looked like a handsome young man, and now he looks like a crazy professor.
Listen, the documentary has taken a toll on all of us.
I have been up day and night, day and night, day and night, all
Okay,
night.
so
all day.
from one documentary YouTuber person to another, answer me truly, how many external hard drives do you own right now?
Oh my Lord, have mercy. And everything has to be in 4K now.
Yeah.
So maybe 10. And I'm still having to buy more. No, terabytes. I remember just 10 years ago, I couldn't even imagine having a terabyte on my hard drive. I couldn't even imagine. Now it's like 4, 5, 10 terabytes. It's like, what in the world? And that still isn't enough space. Technology is cool, but sometimes, man, I hate it.
Yeah, no, it's such a volume. So like earlier, okay, so I take parts of copyrighted material, the broadcasting, and comment on it, but that means I have to watch the broadcasting.
Yes.
So when I was a PMO, I would never watch the broadcasting, never. But as an apostate, I don't have to watch it once. I have to watch it 5 times.
Yes.
And I have to write up an index so I know all because I'm not going to use it this time, maybe I'm going to use it next time. So I'm actually sitting here, and I have ADHD to begin with. So this is my favorite. I'm sitting with, making index of broadcasting, and I have to watch every broadcasting 5 times.
Wow. Yep. Yep, that is absolutely
if I have to use it,
Yeah.
But as soon as you edit it, you have to watch it and watch it and click and watch it again and watch it again. So when I make one of my silly videos, it takes about 3 hours per minute. So if it's a 7-minute stupid video with me and some goats and a clip of the governing body members, it still takes me 21 hours to make it.
Yes.
So I can just imagine you with all these stories. When you finally get the ex-Jehovah Witness to tell their story, they will normally tell for 25 hours.
That's right. And
you have to cut it down to 20 hours and then kind of sell it to a worldly person. It's not easy.
Yep. And I'm utilizing 3 camera angles. So every time I film, I got the 3 camera angles going. And then I also have 2 extra that are doing like behind the scenes for bloopers and stuff like that. It's a lot of space. It's a lot of hard drive space. I didn't realize how crazy it was going to be.
Yeah, it's a lot. So when I talk to people that want to start a YouTube channel and stuff like that, I say it's very good, but I tell them not to edit videos because it's so much more work than you think. Especially here in Europe, we have a lot of small languages. Like Norwegian is spoken by 5 million people. And the amount of ex-Jehovah Witnesses are just a few hundreds, and most of them don't watch YouTube videos. So what I tell people, if you're from Poland, Poland's kind of big, but if you're from small country like, I don't know, England, Sweden, to make just interviews, because then you get 1 hour of content with minimum of editing.
Right.
Because I know people that try to make really good edited, good quality, curated videos in like Norwegian. There's a guy who's doing that, and he gets like 12 views. And it's not because it's bad quality. It's because it's a specific Jehovah Witness apostasy in a small country, you get 12 views.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's why everybody, the viewers that are watching, your part is to find the people that are actually doing the frontline work.
It's a lot of work.
And share it and share it there, because there are people just like the three of us right now, and we're working day and night, and our team as well. And all you got to do is click like and share, and then get the message out even more. It's so simple. You can do it.
Yeah, because there is a way possible to help these fine gentlemen. I was thinking, brothers and sisters. Sorry, English is not my first language, and I'm tired. But sorry, there is a way
My
to help.
English is not that good looking.
Because you made kind of a trailer, not trailer to pitch for the
that
networks,
was just showing some work.
A YouTube trailer for people like me and other ex-Jehovah Witnesses, like, for instance, apostates, people like us, And I guess if you try to pitch this to, for instance, Netflix or any network, they will look at this YouTube thing you put on and see, is it getting any traction? If it doesn't get any views, any sharing, they will not go into the project. So an easy way of supporting you would be that we all go to this YouTube video that you did, and we all watch it, we all like, we all write something, and we all share it. And also important for the algorithm that we watch all the way to the end, because normally on a YouTube video, people watch it and then it goes slightly down.
It's a drop off in the analytics.
Yeah. And if I were a network guy and I was like for Netflix or anything, and I'm going to buy a product and I see that people like to start watching it and then they drop out, I know this is not a good series. So we could actually support him here by creating real, actual views, not any fake, but go and click. Am I correct?
You're exactly right. The algorithms now and the way things are done. So just like I was saying, for any channel, not just ours, Goat-like personality, the John Cedars, like all those other channels that are out there. If you want to get the message out there more and get it more exposed, then yes, you need to be helping those channels, because then you're able to take those, and that's part of the package that when you present it. And if your views are good and your analytics are really doing good, then they're going to see that it's value and it can go into the main market. And that's what you got to do. It's just like MC Hammer when he sold records out of his car, out of the trunk of his car. By the way, I saw that 3 episodes so far I have produced.
So you made 3 episodes and they're edited and done.
Yes, they're there's still some corrections. There were some audio glitches on one of our actually 2 of our interviews. I did not realize that one of my main audio channels was, I feel like I got fur on my, okay, but one of my microphones had some kind of feedback. It was catching the signal of somebody's cell phone. I don't know what it was. I had to go in and I had to layer ambient noise on top of that audio, but whenever it would glitch, I would have to like cut that out and then try to correct the word that the person I was interviewing said, because that audio, it was popping, and on my other one it was still getting feedback. It was like but yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
we'll get through it.
Yeah,
it is. I'm starting to see I should really have probably some kind of education how to do this, because it is really a lot of knowledge how to make videos and all of that. It's not and get a good workflow, like you should see me cleaning windows. That's a workflow. Yeah. I work faster than both of you.
That's
because
right.
I have a good workflow, and learning how to have a good workflow with editing and that, and remembering where everything is.
Right.
It's a lot of work, and that's why I
find
people like you go like that, put all that content out, because it's amazing. And the one reason why I really like and enjoy this channel is because it's always from a place of information, and love and passion, and it's nothing like hateful. Because when I first left, I was looking for channels or something. Not even when I first left, because I wasn't allowed to look at social media. I thought that was the devil for a while. But anyway, fast forward, I found some YouTube channels, and channels like yourself. I just want to thank you and applaud you for all the work that you do, because it is helpful. And people listen to your channel, and they see where you're from, and they see your background. Everything you're doing, you're helping, and you're being informative. And there's things that I don't even know, because I don't like to keep in touch with that side. And I'm happy that you have the patience and the love enough to do that, because I could not go through all those JW.org, videos. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and big shout out to my worldly wife that's okay with me doing this, because this is time I have to take out from paid work.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm a small business owner, so I know, I really should go and clean that bank and make 10,000, but instead I'm making a video that get 2,000 views.
Yeah.
And she knows that she's not stupid. She's just a very good person, and she understands it's important. I can tell you an encouraging experience, like in the good days.
Please do.
Because I had a live stream. And there was in the comment section a Jehovah Witness, a disfellowshipped sister, and she mentioned suicide and stuff like that. So we kept the live stream going for half an hour, and she was kind of rude, I would say. But it's a lot of self-loathing that needs to be extroverted,
Yep.
And then when we ended the video, and I got messages from her afterwards. She posted under other videos of mine, and they got slightly less rude. And in the end, she said on one video that Jehovah gonna get me for this, but I think you're actually right and they are wrong. The good thing now, if she wants to go back to be a Jehovah Witness, I'm okay with that. It's her life. But the nice thing is that she did mention suicide.
Yes.
She did use the S word. And you don't do that to strangers unless there is some kind of big or minor problem.
Yes.
That's right.
And we could be there for her.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's it.
I really got to tune in on this one, chime in on this one, because I've been getting a lot of phone calls. And now I'm also hearing a lot of stories. And ever since this COVID, there's been a lot of people, some people lose hope, lost their jobs, things have happened. Relationships breaking up, and Summer and I know you do too, getting tons of messages, and that's when I had to take a mental break and recharge and Summer as well, to recharge our brains to prepare for the next chapter that we're doing in this whole project. And the phone calls that I'm getting, and people are really sad, and then I'm getting phone calls and I'm hearing about people committing suicide and the rates going up. Now, look, anybody who's listening right now, really, you're really not alone. If you are alone, then you're doing it to yourself. And I have to say that, because we're out here. Now, I've even had my suicidal thoughts. I have not had my sons in my life. And this is something it's like extremely difficult for me to talk about. I don't even like talking about it. But I haven't had my sons in my life since 2012, once I decided to go on my first backpack and leave the Jehovah's Witness organization. It's when my wife and I fell out. We got divorced. There was problems. I lost my kids. I lost my kids because they said that I was mentally crazy. And the judges here in South Carolina, they, if you ever been in South Carolina, some of the judges, are a little tone deaf. And they don't like my skin color, So I had the elders, I had brothers and sisters, I had two sides of the family, all Jehovah's Witnesses inside the courtroom, and there I was by myself on the other side. And I lost my kids. I'm doing this because it's the only... I know how crazy it can be inside your mind going through what you're going through. And if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness, you got to start reaching out and you got to start joining the community. You have to force it, because it's like a teapot, eventually it's going to start screaming and all that pressure is going to come out. you need somebody to talk to so that that pressure comes out, because yes, we care about you and we do not want to see you take your own life. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. So yeah, I'm a big advocate on, and I'm actually going to release a video here soon about suicide. And that's gonna, sometimes I'm gonna release clips of the documentary that's part of the documentary, and then sometimes we're just gonna work on some things that need to be mentioned and put it on our channel as well, on the Healing Project channel.
I had to sit down with paper and pen and make up a list why not to kill myself, and putting up different alternatives. And I read books for like healthcare professionals, also because I needed to explain this for my sick now ex-wife, because she was a healthcare professional, and now she was sick herself. But anyway, and one of the things is when you feel when people feel suicidal, is because they have this enormous feeling of that there is no other way out. There's nothing else to do. They run out of option, and there is other options, but you can't absolutely not see them. So what I always tell people when they're really depressed and stuff like that, and I mean it's not just something I just say to be polite. I mean it seriously. I tell you, instead of killing yourself, come to Norway. Because it is an alternative.
There you go. It's an alternative.
I bought myself a camper, an old camper, you know, a trailer house, where the mobile home, you call it in America. Yeah, I bought a mobile home that's in my garden. I have standby. So if someone feeling suicidal, they can come here, and I pay for electricity. I can afford that, and food, and they can stay here instead of killing themselves.
Yeah.
And when I tell people, they start arguing, well, who's going to feed my cat and all of, and then they start telling me all the reasons they actually do have to live, and you know, my football team needs me, and they start telling.
That's some epic reverse
it's like instant therapy, because as soon as I mention Norway, they start telling me all the reasons they have to live. But the trailer thing, I just have to say, it's not a joke. They can come here if they will. That's why I bought it.
That's classic. I like it. Who's gonna feed your cat?
Actually, we should put that on a t-shirt. We'll make that a series. Who's gonna feed the cat?
Who's gonna feed your cat? Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Good
no, but
stuff.
to feel you run out of opportunities. So what I did when I was suicidal, and I read that, and I realized, how did Watchtower manipulate me? Well, one thing is that I always thought I have to do research. I have to check, 607, all that, but I don't have the time, because Watchtower were forcing me to do all this stuff for Watchtowers. I never had the time to sit down and do the research.
Yeah.
So my weakness would be postponing. So I said, I'm going to kill myself. So I actually still have decided to kill myself. I'm not going to do it now, but I actually decided to kill myself, but I'm going to postpone it. And then I made a list of things I have to do before, and like climb the Mount Everest, and when you're making that list, it's actually fun, because if the opposite is killing yourself, well, then obviously climbing the Mount Everest is a better alternative. So you get a very creative list. I'm going to make a write a script for a Hollywood movie. I'm going to star in a Wes Anderson movie, and there's all these things I want to do. And then I myself later. So
look, I know I'm looking rough.
3,000 years for me to finish.
I know I'm looking rough, but every morning right now where I'm filming, the cinematography, the shots that I need to get, I got this beautiful lake in front of me. I got these beautiful trees, and I got 2 squirrels that I finally made friends with, and they come every morning and eat breakfast with me. I have a fire going. I'm getting all these, I'm meeting people. So I would have missed out on all this if I committed suicide. Yeah.
It is. So
thank you.
So so you may I actually have been trying to come up with people you can do interview in Norway that are interesting. I'm looking for, we have a small cult that's a Lutheran cult. It's based on Lutheranism. So they are a member of the Norwegian church or the Swedish church. We have on paper we are not secular states in Scandinavia. We have Lutheranism, so we have the Church of Sweden. We're much less religious than Americans, but on paper, we do not have a separation between church and state, but it's just on paper. Anyway, so they are a part of that. They are Lutherans, but they have their own meetings, and they're most famous for not being allowed to have drapes. So it's easy to see where they live because they have no curtains.
Oh, wow.
Because they said it's the devil's long johns. And that's a funny cult. They don't preach. They don't preach. They just started to exist as there used to be an enormous amount of alcohol abuse here. So as a counter reaction to that, you came up with this Puritan religion that don't do anything instead.
What?
Yeah, that's
so no curtains, no drapes or curtains.
Nothing.
Blinds? What about blinds?
No.
Okay, so I got a couple of neighborhoods they can move to in the United States where they'll lose everything in the first night.
But normally an organization will start as a counter reaction to something.
Right.
You have one problem and then something starts as a counter-reaction, like Black Lives Matter would not exist without institutional racism.
That's right.
Jehovah Witnesses would not exist if it wasn't for Russell being afraid of hell.
Yeah.
So he came up with this idea, well, God doesn't kill anyone. It just is Armageddon and there's a paradise for everyone. And then Rutherford turned it into a doomsday Armageddon where everyone dies.
Yep.
But Russell actually believed in a golden age where no one would die in Armageddon. Everyone would be happy. Women would turn into men and black would turn into white and everyone's happy.
Yes. This
Swedish cult, Swedish Norwegian cult, Finnish too, it started like in opposition to the immense alcohol abuse into an organization that didn't drink, didn't do dance, didn't do music, but then they just got stuck. And it's like a religious belief that we can't do all these things. So when kids leave that religion, they believe in hell and they live with hells of nightmares. And it's difficult to explain to them. I grew up without drapes and now I dream nightmare because I have drapes. So I'm trying to find some of them to be interviewed, but it's a very small cult and difficult to meet. But it's like our Amish.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's Amish.
Got you.
It's a weird rural religion. And it's fun when you're doing field service because it's easy to see, look at that house, no drapes.
Yes.
So they will not talk to us because they believe we are safe.
That's crazy. Wow.
So I'm looking for them so you can line up a few funny interviews when you come to Norway.
Yeah, I like it. That would be great.
And we also have a famous Norwegian actor that's been on Netflix already because he's an actor, and he's gay and he's an ex-Jehovah.
Oh wow, yeah,
but he's famous enough to block me on Facebook. So I probably have to send him a letter in the mail.
Did a nude interview.
I was gonna say there's an ex-Jehovah's Witness that found peace in becoming a nudist. So we have all kinds of stories.
Oh, tell me more.
So the question is, did I get naked?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Was I nude? What's that?
That is a good question.
Did I go full nude?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, coming soon.
No, but I was just making an interview with someone about how to find your authentic self, because we were always suppressing our authentic self as Jehovah Witnesses.
Yeah.
Like you cannot be yourself, and when you're born, you have. I'm tired now, but the English word, you need to connect with your parents and you need to be authentic, but being connected is more important because otherwise you die. And to witness extent, you learn how to suppress yourself to be what the community wants you to be. And my best example, well, my parents would literally tell me, we only love you if you serve Jehovah. And obviously you will start loving Jehovah because you need your parents.
Yeah.
But if you think about the Jehovah Witness funeral, they would tell us in advance of the funeral that remember to look happy, so people that come to the funeral knows that we are
I
Jehovah's
remember
happy
that.
people.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you see a Jehovah Witness funeral with no outsiders present, they look so gloomy because they actually don't realize that death could happen to them. They thought they would live into paradise. It's like absolute gloom and terror. And then someone in the door, and you just see that he's not wearing a tie, and everyone go like,
back room. Yeah.
we're the happiest people. We believe in resurrection. Death is only temporary. And it's just an act. And they are not self-aware that it's an act. And
Right.
then they go home and drink. I'm sorry to say that, but there's a lot of drinking and stuff going on, and kind of
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of
so I would really like to talk to the guy that find out, okay, I'm nude and I'm happy. That seems like a very healthy way of being.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. They're doing a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about. It's about coping, finding whatever it takes to cope, whether it's going into fitness, whether it's becoming an activist, whether it's, painting, doing music, whatever it is, throw your emotions into that and create whatever it is. If it's more YouTube content, create that. It's about finding a reason to go on. And that's part of the reason why they're sharing their story, because they want people to know, hey, I'm here too. Your story may not be like mine, but we have that same trauma bond. So if you need me, I'm here. And so many people, when we interview them, that's the message they want. When I ask them, why are you doing this? Why do you want to be a part of the project? It's always because I want to bring awareness to the effects, and so that other people know that they're not alone. Yeah. So that's the premise of the Healing Project, and allowing people to give them the space to feel vulnerable, to feel messy, to be emotional, to be angry, whatever it is, they need to process that. And that's part of the healing. And so if GIF and I and those that support us can create an environment for this person to feel, to safe enough to share that, and then they reach someone else that might be on the verge of suicide and decide not to, and start looking for more stories like that, I mean, we've done our job.
Yeah. And like because when you suppress anger and you, like, people teach their sons that a man cannot cry, then you suppress your sorrow, but it's okay with anger. Witnesses do opposite. They say you cannot be angry, but you must be happy, mandatory. Yes. And then you suppress other things instead. It's not healthy, and sooner or later it will burst, Like when I was a Jehovah Witness and I absolutely hated myself for masturbation, I could be a really asshole to women. Yeah. Because in my mind, you are the one that making me doing that. Yeah. It's your fault. Yeah. So when I hated myself, I hated others. And as you see, like, if you grow up in a racist community and you're not allowed to cry, and well, obviously then it's really easy to lash onto racism, when my anger can go on to Black people or Jewish people or Swedish people or anything, So learning how to be your authentic self and connect with your own feelings after leaving, if you could manage to do those episodes so normal worldly people, which I still call them, can watch this and see, and they get naked or do something creative that's not harming anyone, but help them connect with their own individuality, then we're creating a better world for everyone.
Exactly. And I see what we're doing. I mean, because of the topics and the subjects that our community does touch, that is a world, like a world crisis, just like on suicide. That is for everyone, and you don't have to be from an ex-cult, or you don't have to necessarily be part of a religion to get stressed out so much that you want to commit suicide. So this message is for everyone, the world community, in my mind.
Yeah. So it was 1 year since, they tried to bring down democracy in America, 6th of January, 1 year ago. in Sweden, they have this attitude that if someone tried to bring down democracy, he basically needs a hug. And they've been doing that. We haven't been in war for 200 years. We have an army and everything, but they just, you need a hug.
Yeah.
Some people do.
And it was like, I remember it was the special forces, like the toughest Marine you can find in Sweden. And their boat went down, and it was in the news, the boat sank or something like that. And it was like, yeah, how do you feel? Yeah, we have groups, and we have therapy, and we talk about their emotions. So all these, like the toughest assholes you can find in Sweden, they were sitting in a circle. Yeah, when the boat started to sink, I felt like this. And there's no shame. It was like, yeah, that's what we do. But the thing is, we stayed out of war for 200 years because we don't try to pretend something we're not.
Yeah,
yes, we'll fight if you attack us, but we don't try to be Superman, and we cry if we need to.
Yeah,
that's right. Very healthy.
That's right. Yeah,
I think, these people try to bring down democracy in America. Half of them would just need like 1 or 2 hours of therapy and a good hug, and that would be good.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm about to cry right now. I'm just kidding. I'll save it for later.
I'm the crier on the show.
It says nudist activists making grappa, vaping herbs, all's good. Yeah, doesn't hurt anyone.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. I just found out that my grandma is dead.
Good point.
Oh, wow. See? Yeah.
You just found out.
No one told me.
Yep.
See?
Wow.
Yep.
I'm going to make an angry video about that. But
you should.
No, I'm going to make an angry video because I know some family members watch my channels. I'm going to make an angry video, and I'm going to rip out some pages of the Bible and give to my goats because they know better how to use them.
Yeah.
My grandma, I used to send her. So I can't talk to her or anything. So I used to send her postcard because Jehovah Witnesses are suckers for pretty pictures of nature. That's like paradise. So I would buy postcards in Norway. Sorry, I'm crying. And send to my grandma. I didn't know if she was dead or alive. I didn't know if she was senile. If she was senile, she would be happy for the picture.
Yeah.
And I'm a human being, so I send her a picture, and I didn't sign it because if I would sign it Jonas, she would throw it away. So I just sent a nice picture, wrote some nice stuff, but I never signed it and sent to her. And now I know she's dead. That means that my parents were talking, should we call my oldest brother? They called to all the siblings. Should we call Jonas? No.
Yep.
And they say, normal family contact can keep going.
Yeah.
And it's not like they forgot to tell me.
Right.
They said, should we tell him? No, we should not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can be assholes, witnesses too.
That's right. and that's
a real asshole thing to do because I might still be sending postcard if it wasn't for me finding out.
Yeah.
Through and now good news. One of my close family members are Pimo. That's where I found out.
Wow.
So good news and bad news.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What you can get. Yeah.
Control.
Yeah. I won't hear. I don't think I'll hear from my family if something happens. Of course, I actually not think. I know that I won't hear. I'll hear from my extended family if something happens. Yeah. I know.
Just have to answer this. I don't know how long ago my grandma passed.
Wow.
I just know that she's dead now.
Yeah. I mean, my mom would come into town. And I wouldn't even know about it. People would be like, "Hey, did you see your mom? She was here for like a couple of weeks."
Yeah.
And I lived in a very small city. It's like 30 minutes long, So it. And then when my father passed, speaking of funerals, my father passed. I got so upset because I was told I couldn't really have any emotions because me crying too much would make other people feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then to get to the funeral, and after the funeral, they were handing out tracts. like I had to, my friends were watching me. My real friends that are kind of in but not really in, they were watching me. You know what I'm saying? They had surveillance because I was about to lose it. Because of how dare you use this occasion, something that is solemn and sacred, as a way to push your agenda for the people that are already here. Like, can you take a break for one moment? You know, because if it's the truth, it doesn't need to be shoved down people's throats.
Right.
People believe in gravity, and you don't have to tell them but one time.
Right.
If it's the truth, it's the truth. And so it's very hurtful. You know, like you said, they can be complete jerks about this shunning thing. And I wonder if they were really honest from the platform and tell them, hey, you not speaking to your son or daughter or keeping that minimum basic communication is actually causing them to not want to live anymore. If they think that that would be God's will, I would be interested in just taking a survey or having somebody say that from the convention, because it's just absolute ridiculous. And enough is enough. And it's not to come at their beliefs, but just to say, stop doing that part so that we can heal. Because there's times when I talk to someone, just this, morning about they lost custody over their children because they didn't want to go to the meetings.
Yeah, I got that message from you this morning.
I was so
you real fast.
Angry. I just said, that's just enough, and we have to talk to people. We have to tell people about it, so that they can get the help that they need. Even if we can't help them, we might know somebody that does.
Yes. And how did I meet Summer? I'm sorry, Summer. I see. Well, I met Summer in Atlanta when we were doing the tune-in tour, because that's a whole nother project that is being worked on right now. And we're helping with that project, and they're also helping with this project as well. So once I put out the message that we were doing this, and I was going through the emails, and I homed in on her email to me, and she didn't know it, but I interviewed Summer first.
Yeah, it was actually on Messenger.
She was my first interview.
Facebook. Yeah, I had made a post.
She didn't know that I was interviewing her to be a host.
Yeah.
And she's an ex-Jehovah's Witness as well.
Yeah, I had made a post on the Facebook groups because I was having a very low moment. Speaking of suicide, I was having a very low moment, and it was going to be a holiday weekend, and I knew that I should not be alone. So I just made a random post that, hey, anybody going to be, in Atlanta this weekend? And, Gift messaged me back, and he was like, hey, I'm going to be in Atlanta, doing this, thing. And he sent me the clip that I didn't watch right away. I was just like, okay, guy, who else? You know what I mean? But I wasn't sure, and I was just trying to be out there. And so I started talking to him, and that's how we got together. He started hearing my story, and he was interviewing me for this position, and being a part of the Healing Project team. So it's pretty awesome.
And I got a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's weird. I'm thinking about my grandma now. My grandpa back then, my grandpa grew up in the so-called truth, but then they did not manipulate kids so much as they later, because first they thought Armageddon were coming soon, and they thought like you just inherit your religion like everyone else do. So my father wasn't a witness; he was in the army and stuff. And when they got their first baby, he became a witness without telling her, basically. So she made Christmas dinner and everything, and said, "Merry Christmas, let's eat." Prepared, made everything nice, and he said, and went to bed.
Wow.
So but she became a Jehovah Witness. They had 9 kids, and my family was like super. They're not phonies. So everyone's elders, everyone's pioneers. And if you go to Sweden and you say Nyman, means Newman, the Nyman family, everyone knows who we are. And now one of the Nymans is an apostate. And I'm the black sheep of the family big time. You can't imagine when you're from a Jehovah Witness clan that's like world famous in Sweden. Like you're going from there to there, and all my siblings and all these trying to fade cousins and all of them, they can't understand how lucky they are that I took the big blow for all of them. They get away with everything.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so my son is a Jehovah Witness. He do celebrate Christmas, but at least he's not like Jonas, the guy in Norway. They get away with everything because I took
Scapegoat.
took the fall.
Scapegoat. Goat-like is a scapegoat.
Yeah, big time. I can tell you. I'm one of the I'm the third oldest of somewhere between 30 and 40 cousins, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of them want to leave the religion, but I kind of took the fall for every one of them because when you go all the way to apostate.
Yeah. I take the fall a lot.
You're coming back.
Oh yeah.
Dan says, when my dad passed, only my older brother, the elder, noted. Can you read it? You
notified me, didn't hear anything from my other brother and sister.
Yeah.
Your father.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a classic. They do that.
Yeah.
But I wonder how worldly people react when they go to a funeral and they being love bombed by the witnesses. And obviously they like it, but if they have some social antenna and they see that person is shunned while I'm love bombed, that person is crying because a close relative died, and I'm just a co-worker that paying my respect, and they are love bombing me and then if they ask around and find out, the person love bombing me is the father of the crying person that they're shunning, and he's love bombing me. How do they react? It must be disgusting.
Yeah.
If you can see through it, I guess most people can't see through it. But if you can't see through it, I would be absolutely disgusted if I were the person being love bombed.
Yep, that was one of the XJWs that wrote into the show said that, she had to attend her father's funeral. And her own mother wasn't talking to her, and her worldly husband, went, and he was like, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen before," and it did put a bad taste in their mouth. So I know firsthand that it does not have the effect that they think it's going to have, because they can see through it. They're not looking through that lens; they're seeing it for what it is.
Yeah. I compared to I remember the first time when I went to the pyramid schemes. Now people get suckered into that all the time, and I got suckered into one of those pyramid scheme meetings, and I'm sitting there and I'm just looking around like, what is going on? And the guy's speaking, and there's people that are clueless around me, but then there's people in the audience going, "Wow, yeah, great." And I'm like looking around like, what is going on? And that's, to me, is how a worldly person sees our funerals. Well, Jehovah's Witness funerals.
Yeah.
A pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, and people get suckered into it. I sometimes think, and I hope my parents see this, they're going to be mad, but sometimes I wonder.
They're already mad.
Did my mom and dad get suckered into this religion?
Yeah. I think I'm fourth generation. I don't even know.
You get suckered into this. You're in a pyramid scheme. I was 17 years old when I got into that whole pyramid scheme meeting, and I knew something was off. Something just ain't right. Why are they saying yes so much over there? Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. No, I'm both sad and happy now. I'm sad about my grandma, but she was old, so But sad thing is kind of she wasted her life. Like she was shunning one of her kids, and he committed suicide. It was all for nothing.
Yeah.
If she weren't a Jehovah Witness, if she would have been a worldly person and she would buy lottery tickets and won the lottery every day of her life, she would still be dead now. So time. You can't blame Watchtower for everything.
Right.
But,
exactly.
Like all the work she put into the religion, she was really good at memorizing scriptures.
Yeah.
My grandpa was pioneering. They didn't really have fun as old people because they were giving money to Watchtower every month. And when grandpa died, the police came, I think, to talk to my grandma because they basically well, I don't want to say anything too negative, but you know, the house was not worth the mortgage.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
every time you went to, every time Watchtower needed money or had some kind of international convention, my grandpa would go to the bank and ask for a loan for home improvement. And they would always say, well, if you want this much money, we will give you that much money, because they are salespeople. They sell mortgages. That's what they do. But my stupid family thought, this must be Jehovah's blessing. They are giving us more credit than we asked for our home improvement. And then they would take the money, give some to Watchtower, give the rest to Watchtower, and never improve their home. And then I remember they said, how could the police be so rude to talk? And they had some kind of questions to my grandma, which is basically, she's a grown up. But they say, how can the worldly police be so cruel and ask question to an old lady? Yes, she's an old lady, but she's also grown up. And they had, she has a submissive wife, but her husband, they were married, gone to the bank every time and asked for money for home improvement and never improved the home and gave the money to
Wow.
Watchtower.
Sour.
So
Oh,
basically, even as a witness, this annoyed me, because who is giving money to Watchtower? It is the bank.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah, I know people that leave everything in their will to the Watchtower, so doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me
but
at all.
crimes
when you
against
loan
humanity.
money without the intention of paying back, and the house that you use as collateral is not worth, and you're not improving it, even though you refer to it as home improvement. So I was, as a witness, I love my grandparents. I really love my grandpa. But I didn't like it, because I think it's a level of dishonesty when you say that you borrow money from the bank
Yeah.
with no
And
intention
you
to
don't
pay
use it
back,
for what it's
and give
for.
it to Watchtower.
That's just, yeah, and that's why when they do things like keep things like that from you, it's kind of, think about how far gone they are, you know, how invested they are in this religion, to the point where they are not even reasonable, you know, because it's not even reasonable logically to say that you have to be honest about everything when it comes to the government, and then lie about taking a loan out, and have the Watchtower governing body look the other way.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be hypocritical, but they can make sense of it, because that's how much they have tapped into, you know, their fear and their you know, emotions. That's makes sense to them. It's reasonable.
There's a question here,
Right.
Summer.
Is the Healing Project a group on social media and meetups? It is a group on social media. We have a Facebook group called the Healing Project. We also have a Facebook group called the Healing Project video page on Facebook. And you can also find us at on Instagram under the Healing Project. All we do is win for you. So yes, we are.
And the
Our
video
email
you made
is,
that we're promoting now, where do we find it?
Sammy, you'll send her the link. Send him the link.
Yeah, but it's on our
YouTube.
YouTube channel,
It's on YouTube. Okay,
the Healing Project.
but we're gonna put a link in the description.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she'll send you the link.
Yeah,
She's
so
on it.
what's your gut feeling about the project? Will they buy it?
Oh yeah, I think so.
To tell you the truth, the flow and the direction it's going, and I know you know what I'm talking about. It's the script is everything. The script is everything, and it took me like 3 months. I knew that I had to keep filming, so I just kept filming. And I knew it was all going to become like a whole, you know, it's all going to come together. But the script itself and how to actually make it flow. Now that we kind of locked into that, yes, I feel like it's going to sell.
So, but clarify what you mean by script, because these are people's authentic stories, but we're just the ones molding
so
how it
we're
looks.
surrounding a script around their story. So the episode or chapter, as I'm calling it, chapter 1, chapter 2, sometimes one story might be 2 chapters or 3 chapters, and then one story might be 1 chapter, or it might be 2 and 2 chapters, like that. So basically with the script itself, So right now I'm doing cinematography. So I'm not doing interviews this week or next week. I think in about 3 weeks, we're going to start those interviews again to get the rest. But right now I'm doing the cinematography to make it feel like you're watching a movie about a person's life. And that's what we're doing right now.
Sounds cool. Yeah, we're hitting the 1 hour mark. So I put a link in the description.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I wish you all the best.
You.
And yeah, and see you in paradise.
You.
See you in paradise.
Hey, I like it. I can't wait to pet my lion.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.